Okay, let's talk briefly about capitalization and punctuation. So, in general, capitalization and punctuation, this video is going to be really quick because in general, these two are the same rules with English, okay? So, capitalization. Proper nouns, names, right? They get capitalized. Anything that's proper or names, right? And I underline proper because I'll say that later. I'll have something to tell about that later. First letters of sentences and phrases, obviously, they are important, so they get capitalized, right? And you already know the alphabet because I made a video about it, so you know which letters are capital and whatnot. So, again, same rules with English for the capitalization and punctuation, right? Go figure, right? Go figure. Hello, American colonization. So that's why the rules are the same with English. Um, I say proper nouns because this isn't Cebuano isn't like other languages like German, for example. So if you've studied German, you're gonna know what I'm talking about, right? Where in German you have nouns, regardless of whatever it is, nouns, all nouns are always capitalized, even if there is an article before it, right? Die das da, right? Die das da, or see or whatever, right? So those uh proper nouns are always going to get capitalized, right? In German. Or no, in Cebuano, sorry. In German, every noun gets capitalized. And I think pronouns, I don't remember when I was looking at German, but I know nouns in German get capitalized everywhere, whereas in Cebuano, it's only the proper nouns, like in English, that get capitalized, right? Proper nouns. Not just nouns, but proper nouns. Nouns don't get capitalized, only proper nouns do, which are like places of names, people, etc. And then down here below, right, is punctuation is again the same rules with English. I do want to talk about three, maybe four things that I wrote down here. So in Spanish, right, the question mark and the exclamation point are inverted to show a question or an exclamation, right? In English, it doesn't do that, right? Cebuano follows the English pattern. I guess this is like one of the anglicisms that happened when during American colonization, but Cebuano doesn't follow that with the inverted question mark or exclamation point. It just has a question mark and an exclamation point at the end if it's going to be depending upon the what type of sentence is it, whether it's an interrogative with a question mark or exclamatory with a exclamation point or exclamation mark. The third thing I want to talk about is this hyphen, right? Even though Cebuano has hyphenated words that affect pronunciations, hyphens do exist in Cebuano, and that just depends on the context. Again, when you're reading something with a hyphen, if it's if it's inside a word, right, you know it's gonna get changed in its um, pronunciation, right? So it's there's gonna be that internal pause if it's inside a word, okay? But sometimes we have hyphens to separate two words, all right? That hyphen that separates two words does not change the pronunciation. It's only the hyphen that is inside a word that changes the pronunciation, or within a word that changes. If it's a hyphen that separates two words together, you don't change the pronunciation. So that can affect pronunciation when you see the hyphen, right? That's just a note to keep in future references. So again, you'll know when it'll be obvious when you see the hyphen that's between two words, or sometimes between reduplicated words, right? You just don't change the pronunciation. But if the hyphen is inside a word, then you do change the pronunciation with the internal pause. And lastly, the other thing I want to talk about, which I didn't write down, is the apostrophe. Some people write apostrophes to show contraction of words. That's not necessary. It's just extra work, right? Apostrophes are not necessary in Cebuano. And I don't know if apostrophes should even exist in Cebuano, but I think borrowed words from like English or other languages that have apostrophes will be in the Cebuano language if we are quoting a borrowed term or a borrowed phrase or something like that, right? But apostrophes in Cebuano, some people like to put it to show the contraction of words, and that doesn't change the pronunciation, so it doesn't really need to be there if it doesn't. So Again, I think it's just going to be more for more confusion. But other languages do use the apostrophe. Say, for example, Chamorro and Hawaiian, which the apostrophe acts as a glottal stop. In Cebuano, we already know where to put the glottal stops, so that is not necessary. Right? Apostrophes, again, are not necessary in Cebuano, but you will run across people who do use it, and note that it does not change the pronunciation of words. I don't use it because I don't see it necessary, right? But again, this is just mental notes for capitalization and punctuation rules, which again, in general, follow the English or Anglo punctuation and capitalization ways.